Welcome to the PhoneArena.com video review of the HTC Touch Diamond. The Touch Diamond is, to quote HTC, their most important device of the year. It's the successor to the original Touch, a wildly successful unit that sold over 2 million phones worldwide. HTC has a big task on their hand to try to duplicate their success, but they've made several significant changes, both on the hardware and software side, and we think they're poised for even greater sales numbers this time around. What was initially striking about the original Touch was the size. The first time we unboxed it, we were quite literally taken aback at just how small the thing was. The Touch Diamond goes even smaller. It shaves a few millimeters off the overall depth, but the biggest noticeable difference is the narrowness. The device has been narrowed 7 millimeters and feels a lot better in the hand than the original Touch did, which, incidentally, still felt pretty good. Another big factor to this is the weight of the Touch Diamond. The phone is actually framed in stainless steel. You can see it running along the edge of the phone here, and it serves as the ring and the base to the phone. This gives the phone a very nice quality feel to it. The phone is not light at all, as we've seen from some phones, like the View. This is a little heavier, which gives a very reassuring in-hand and in-pocket feel. HTC again has gone very minimal with their design here. As you can see, now and again we're getting the reflection of our camera here, and our lights as well. The phone is extremely shiny, both front and back. While this high-gloss design looks spectacular, it also means the phone fingerprints a lot, and it's hard to keep clean. For the most part, it's not a big deal. However, when the screen is really dirty, it can become kind of hard to see in direct sunlight. HTC does sell a pouch, which says that it cleans the phone as you take it in and out. However, it does not ship with the phone, so we didn't get to test it out. The first thing any user will notice is the large 2.8-inch screen. They upped the resolution to VGA 480 by 640, which makes the phone and screen extremely clear and crisp. It's one of the best phone screens we've ever seen. Below that, there are a few of the physical buttons on the phone. We have home, back, send, end, and the D-pad. Despite the flush finish of most of these buttons, they are actually physical buttons, and you can press them. Around the D-pad, you can actually press up, down, left, and right in order to scroll, and the center button presses as well. The flush look makes the phone appear to be heat or touch sensitive, when really it's not. However, HTC does have a few tricks up their sleeve. The center button on the D-pad is actually proximity sensing. As I move my hand here, you can see the lights lit up on the phone. I didn't actually press the button, it just knew that my finger was there. This also comes into play in the autofocus on the camera. As you move your thumb over it, it'll autofocus, and then you actually press the button to take the picture. You can also run your hand or your finger around the D-pad, and it serves as an iPod-esque scroll wheel. It's nowhere near as smooth as Apple's, but it does get the job done. To the side of the phone, you'll find two of the only buttons. Here's the volume rocker, and just above it on the top is the power button. These are the only physical buttons you'll find on the outside of the phone, save for these ones on the front. On the left side, it reads HTC Innovation, and on the right, 4 gigabytes internal storage is etched into the stainless steel. The device does have 4 gigs of internal storage. However, it does not have any expansion. This could be a drawback for some users, but in reality, 4 gigs is more than most people are going to use. Like we said, at the top of the phone is the power button. Up there we will also find the single speaker. Though it does have 2 slots, that's actually just a break in the casing, and it's a single speaker, not stereo. At the bottom of the phone, we'll find a solitary mini USB port. This multifunction port acts as the charger, the data port, and the headset jack. Of course, the phone also has Bluetooth 2.0 with EDR. and it supports both stereo and mono headsets. The back of the phone is faceted like a diamond. When we first saw that, we weren't extremely crazy about it, but actually seeing it in person, we've grown to like the design. It's a bit more subtle than it looks in pictures, and it really doesn't affect how the phone feels, and in fact, it might feel a little bit better because of it. As you can see, the facet around the diamond has a brushed metal finish. The camera sits in this. As we said, it's an autofocus camera, weighing in at 3.2 megapixels. If you slide the battery cover up, the entire back comes off. Here you'll find simply the battery and the SIM slot. Again, with no microSD expansion, there's no slot for the card. Lastly is the stylus, which sits at the bottom and pulls out. It's held in by a magnet, and as you can see, it'll kind of pull itself back up here. We've seen some reviews say that the phone and the stylus feels like it would fall out, but as you can see, it's extremely sturdy, at least in our unit. It's completely reassuring, and we have no indication to think that it would fall out. TouchFlow 3D is HTC's revamped user interface. It's actually a home screen plugin, but it serves to act as a completely different environment for the user. It has nothing in common with the original TouchFlow, except that it's finger friendly. As you can see along the bottom, there are 5 different tabs. There are actually more tabs available, and to navigate these, the user simply touches the bar down at the bottom and begins to scroll across until they find the tab they want. As you can see, the scrolling is extremely smooth, and the transparencies show what tab is what. Here we're on the home screen, which has a large clock, the call history, and upcoming calendar appointments. You can slide up to see more calendar appointments if you had any. The next tab is People. Here we can find visual speed dials that are user definable. Simply flick up and down, and it acts like a flip book. Of course, you can set your own pictures, and you can have many speed dials on the home page. Clicking on All People will bring you to the Windows Mobile Phone Book. This is pretty standard, except that HTC has again added their Random Access Manager on the side. This lets the user slide down so they can see which letter they're going to and quickly get to that area. The next tab we'll see is Messaging, which is our MMS and SMS messages. You get to read the whole message on the screen here, and flicking up will take you through messages. Again, the animation is extremely smooth. If you actually click on the message, it'll take you to reply. Here we'll also see the Windows Mobile 6.1 threaded messaging. We see their text message to us, and as we reply, it's going to show ours, and so on and so forth. It's one of the really nice upgrades on Windows Mobile 6.1. Next tab is Mail for email. We have 2 accounts set up, and in this account we have multiple emails. You can simply slide that down and preview each email. Moving to the other account, you can see again there's a nice smooth animation. If we click on the message itself, we can actually view it in the regular Windows Mobile environment and reply to it if we wish. Next tab is Internet. Here we'll see the browser and launch it, which we'll do later. Also, there's a quick application launch link to the YouTube application. And as you scroll up, you can see a couple of our favorites are showing up on that front screen as well.